Ahoy mateys! Greetings, salutations. So I have been digging through the art room inherited boxes of supplies, and I came across a box full of watercolor stuff. And it's basically, well, it's unused. So I've got a bunch of Princeton Neptune brushes, like one of each. So I'm assuming this was some kind of set. Looks like rosewood handles. I've looked these up. These are synthetic, so I like that. I think they all say Neptune, but there's like two different series. There's a acrylic handle, and then there's this let's see, wood handles. There's a quill brush. I'm kind of excited about that. And the other thing I wanted to share in this video, this is the set that I'm going to play with for a little while. See if I fall in like with it. This is a Paul Rubens half pan set, 48 half pans. And Paul Rubens, from what I can tell, they came out mostly with a pink palette set, but there is a blue palette set out there somewhere, but that might have been a Black Friday deal. And so this is the palette, very similar to some other palettes in the collection. We have 4 mixing areas. This sits level, and some little catch-alls. And we've got 48 half pans. Hasn't even been swatched out yet, so I get to have fun doing that. And then this, I believe, is in Korean, but it might be in Japanese. I'm not sure. But I think this is the colors in the set. And then the other side is either extra colors or all the colors. And so we have basically a whole spectrum of classics. And these basically you peel to open, and you have the cake of watercolor. It's level, at least this one is. So this is cobalt blue, and then it's got some stuff that's too tiny for me to read. Maybe I can zoom in on it that way. And it is PB28, pigment blue 28, Paul Rubens, artist watercolor, cobalt blue. Anyway, so this is the set, and I'm going to unwrap these and come back, and we'll give these a swatchy swatch. So hold your breath. It'll be a flash for you and probably an hour for me. Bye. Oh, hey mateys. So, it's been days, but I am back. And I'm going to do some swatching in time-lapse on this Paul Rubens palette. This is the Artist's Grade Transparent Watercolor 48 half pan set. That's the box. It says that. It looks like this. And I've made a swatch grid, and I have unwrapped and labeled the pans. Let's turn this. So we have the pans, they are all unwrapped. None of them fell out, or were none of the paint chiclets fell out or anything. So on the sides, I wrote on one side I wrote the English name for the pigment, and the other side I wrote the pigment codes for all 48 pans. I didn't reorder them, but there were some that I thought about reordering, but I decided to leave them in their factory order right now. I'm going to take this tray out for swatching because this just takes up a lot of screen room. One thing I like about the palette is this side lies flat, and this side, it's also, when open, is level. It doesn't bend up or bend down, so that's nice. It has some bounce. It'll eventually tilt downward, but right now it's level. Alright, so I've got the white to the black, white to black. And there's an ivory black and a coal black, but this ivory black has a brown pigment. So that was interesting. Okay, so we've got this swatch chart, which I need to put a heart on the white. I'm not going to draw a transparent black line, a black line for transparency or anything. Let's make this a star. And this is a Sharpie keychain. I have like tons of these Sharpie keychains, micros, Sharpie micro. It says permanent. Alright, so I'll write in the pigment, I'll write in the names afterwards. Or should I pause the video and write them in now? 1, 2, afterwards. Alright. And I'm also going to be swatching on this just for my records. But I'll probably do that off camera. Alrighty. I've got clean and dirty water. Got clean water. Got paint. Wakey wakey. Yeah. Pigment on the brush. Should I put a pipette on these? Oh, that's opaque. Look at that star just disappear. Okay. So the titanium white is a PW6. and it is opaque, like titanium dioxide sunscreen. Alright, next we're going into this group of yellows. And that is PY53 followed by PY3, which I definitely want PY3. I just took the water out of my brush. Silly me! That's neon, practically. Wow. All right. So I am going to keep filming, but I'm going to put the next section on swatch speed, or increase the speed so that it's not so boring. Be back for the last swatch. Okay, so we've swatched the first row, and you can see that what I thought was opaque is only semi-opaque because we can still see the black star. These yellows, this feels like it's out of place. It feels like it belongs over here. It feels cooler than these others. One is not like the other. So that's something that caught me off guard. The oranges still drying, but very similar. And then we have this PR254 right here, which is Chinese red. It has some other names, but I don't know them off the top of my head. All right, so that is the first row. We're going on to the second row, which is reds and blues. Okay, so we finished the second row. We've got reds and pinks into violets here, and this is such a dark color. And then we go into all of the cobalts and French ultramarine, peacock, and sky. I don't know if that's sky blue or sky cerulean. I forget off the top of my head, but they're very rich, jewel tony colors. Flowers and oceans and shadows, watch out. Okay, so that's the third row swatched. I've realized that each row is taking me a little bit longer, so I'm going to try to speed through this last one. I'm looky-looing. Nothing to say really here. Just very vibrant, as expected. Wait for more. Alright, so we are here for the swatch of the last color, which, because I worked back from the end to let this area dry quite a bit, is the Van Dyke Brown. Van Dyke Brown is a great replacement for sepia. I've always said sepia, so I'm going to stay with that. All right. Okay, so we've got these decadent earthy colors. We've got these jewel tones here in the middle. And then we've got these yellows dominating the top row. This is an extremely vibrant palette. The white is semi-opaque. I didn't put down any black lines or write any text, so I can't speak to transparency on anything else until I do some research. But there is our color swatches. There are some that look identical. So I'm going to, on another piece of paper that I'm gonna sandwich to the back, this piece, I think it's pretty much the similar size. Not quite, but close enough. I'm going to do light washes so I can see some differences. But wow. This Paul Rubens stuff is vibrant. I don't know if it's super transparent though, which that's a little surprising, because I thought these were supposed to be pretty supreme. But there you have swatches for the Paul Rubens 48 pan. Learn something new every day. This is me signing out, and I give thanks and love to a wonderful man who thought of me and passed these things on. Alright, so I ended up swatching part of this Paul Rubens 48 off camera because I forgot. So these are the concentrated swatches to show the deep pigmentation: titanium white, coal black, and all the colors in between. It's laminated, and flipped over is the light washes of the same colors, so you can see depth and breadth. So we've got some interesting granulation in the Van Dyke and the Patchouli, the umber, sky blue, a little bit in the cadmium red, and then there are some that are very smooth as well. There's something really interesting happening in the Hooker's green, between green and gold. I really like it. Me gusta mucho. So that's the swatch card that's going to be corner rounded and stuck in the palette. Squeaky chair aside, this I've got a bird I'm gonna try to do a sample with. I haven't used these for anything but swatching yet. It's probably a huge mistake, but I'm gonna try to do a one brush, very loose sketch here. All right, we're gonna do some wet on wet. Alright, good enough for me for a first. There's some kind of something on the paper right there. Paint won't take. Alright, so it's a few of the colors from this Paul Rubens 48 set. It's a birdie. This is a good underpainting, and we will work off screen on the rest of this. I'm not going photorealistic, if you don't know. I don't do that. One, because I can't see well enough to do that. But we will work on this. Be happy, be healthy, keep learning things. My first impressions of this Paul Rubens 48 is that it's going to be very fun. The price point is right. I don't have to worry about wasting paint because practice makes practice, and that's what I want to be doing. Ciao for now.